Hello? Anybody there? I think this is the place. Oh, this is nice. All right, I think we found ourselves the place to make our bakery. You want to see how it's all got built? Stick around. Okay, we're going to be starting a new project. The little Rolife miniature baking house. It's Becca's baking house. And we'll just open the book, and as I always do is I double check to see how many steps I have coming for me. And this one's interesting because I usually start on page 1, and page 1 is building the building first. Usually that's last. That's fine. We just do what they say. So we'll take all the parts and pieces out of the box, keep all your pieces in there, because you'll never find them if you take it out. And then there's our glue. We only get one kind of glue with this one, and all of our wall pieces, and all of our little paper pieces. This doesn't look too bad, so I think we can handle this. So let's get started. One of the first things that are on here is preparing your glue bottle. I haven't done it this way before, and I will tell you in the future, future me is saying this was great. It works so much better than the other glue bottles. Basically, you just gotta punch a hole, open it up, and then you're gonna put an extra spout on it that makes it so much finer, like needlepoint accuracy. Love it. Once you get all the seals off, you're of course going to cut the little nib off the top, and everything sticks to you, of course. And I just took as little as possible as I could. And then you're going to glue this little thingamajig on the top. It didn't quite fit, so I stretched it out a bit with a pen top. And then you're supposed to warm it up. I use my little lighter here, and then stick it right on. Try to get it on nice and tight as possible. And then clip the top. One thing I noticed though is once you get this little top on, the lid that it comes with doesn't work. So I did a little MacGyver move and just used a corner of the piece of the packaging, wrapped it up, and used a clothespin, and we're good as gold. All right. Now we're gonna start putting the paper to the walls. We're wallpapering. So we're gonna start opening up our package, which is the funnest part, of course, and get the parts that we needed. This isn't a huge project as far as how many walls. Like the last one had, maybe 10, 12 walls to put together. This one only has about 4, but there are some tricky parts that could be. These ones are pretty straightforward. I ended up using my white glue for any of the paper. I just didn't want to use that super glue up. I probably could have, but I'm more comfortable with this glue for wallpapering, and it sticks pretty good. Just put it on nice and thin. And of course, I flatten every single piece with my good old brick. I set it off to the side and I stack them carefully, put some parchment paper in between so they don't stick to each other, and then I put the brick on top and slowly flatten them out. And just do all the easy flat pieces. This one was 2-sided. And don't cut out those holes until your glue is completely dry. You're just going to be a sad puppy if you do it too soon, because it'll rip where you don't want it to. So just glue these, let them dry completely, and then you'll see later on we'll cut all those little holes out. Now it starts to get a little interesting. we're going to make a little punch out wall. This is going to be the part that basically houses the light switch. So we're going to cut out our pieces and we'll just assemble them just notch to notch. Now I did not wallpaper this particular piece just yet, and there's a reason. We need to put this little punch out in first, and then it'll wrap around all the parts and pieces. So make sure you got the right side to the right side. Definitely look at the directions, and you'll see me pause for 2 seconds because I'm reading and looking at the picture. And you'll notice I didn't glue these. They fit very tight, so didn't really need glue. Plus, you're gonna put paper over the top, and that'll glue it together too. You'll see it's a very tight fit. I really jammed it in there, which is good because then it won't fall apart, see? But yeah, that's the hole where your little power source is gonna go. Now we're going to wrap the paper on there. This is probably the only tricky wall, if there is one, as far as papering, because you need to cut it in the right spots for it to fit the way it's supposed to. So when it says solid line is to cut, dotted line is to fold, that things definitely read and double read and triple read where you need to put it. So you're gonna see that it goes over the top of the edge and it kind of wraps around that little bump out. Now if you cut everything right and folded it in the right spots, it should fit just right. See? That little leg up there, boop, fits just right. I'm going to use my ruler here to help flatten it and get it glued all the way to the edge. Just gently line it up there, and then you're going to go up the edge and make sure it's all flat, because you can't really put the brick on this one, so you use the tools that you have handy. You wrap it all the way around, and it should turn out just like so. And if you need to, any edges that didn't seem to stick down, just tack it down and then set them aside and let them completely dry. This one, it's not too bad. You're going to, this wainscoting, you're going to wrap it around the bottom. So it's going to go on the front. You're going to fold it so it goes around the outer edge, because this is going to show, and then it's going to wrap around the back. This piece also has a window in it, and I always look at my chart here. It's super handy to know which piece, because there was a few in there that were similar. So reference your chart. That's what it's for, to make sure you get the right piece. Once you get the right pieces, and you're also going to need a window piece, and it's right here. At first I didn't notice that there's a film that covers it, so make sure you peel the little film off before you glue it on there. This is when I realized that this glue attachment is wonderful. I wish I had it too on the other projects I did. I would have been able to control the glue so much easier, but it's really nice. Now we're just going to glue the little window ledge there. And you'll notice that there's a hole in the middle. That's where our window is going to snap into. I did add glue. It didn't really say. Sometimes it says to add glue, sometimes it doesn't. You kind of go by feel because this one was a little loose, so I felt better gluing it in place. You got yourself a little side window. The dessert shop. Yum, I need some cupcakes. Now this is going to be the time where I'm going to punch I'm not going to show them all, but all the little holes that you see, the little squares and circles. Now that your glue is nice and dry, now's the time to do it. So I did it on all my windows and my walls and the floor. With this kit, we got a new thing to learn here. It's how to make doors that actually open and close, which I think is really cool. So we got a fancy little door here, and there's going to be a window in it, and you're going to put some doorknobs in. So the first thing we do is make sure we glue it on the right side and put the window in. Next, we're going to put the doorknobs in. Now the little posts are way too long, and it actually says in the directions to cut these down. So we'll cut it down, and it cuts pretty easily with the scissors. You could do it with an X-Acto, however you want to do. And you just put the knobs in side by side. I had to trim one just because it is a very tight fit. So make sure you cut them down as low as possible. And there you go. You got a cute little door with doorknobs. Next up, we're going to make this little tiny shelf. It's like a, well, I guess it's a coat hanger. And pretty straightforward. You're just going to, kind of like Legos, you're going to put the little hooks onto the backboard thing. I straightened it out with pliers, and that one's done. And you're going to put some frames on. So the first one is the menu board. And the next one is this delicious something happy. I didn't quite read it. And we're also going to put the header on the door frame here. Make sure you put this in the right direction. There is a little notch that so that the door can fit in there. You can see it right there to the right. So make sure that's over there so that your door will swing open. And don't put glue in that spot either. And now we're going to put the little coat hanger. And this thing, I will say, it is a tight fit. No glue required. I tried jamming it in with just my fingers. I pounded it in. And then I finally just squished it in with my pliers. It got in there. That sucker ain't moving. No glue needed. Done. Okay, now that we got all our little parts and pieces put together, we're going to actually make a building. And this is where I noticed that I missed a hole, so no big deal. I'll just cut that out now. Now when I'm putting these side walls on, I am not gluing them together. And there's a reason, because you want a little give. You don't want them to be too rigid when you start attaching it to the floor. Because just in case it's just the holes are just a little off here and there, then you got a little playroom. Although I will say that, especially this wall, does fit very tight. Like I said, there's only a couple walls to deal with here. I mean, they're a little more intricate than usual, but if you do it all right, it should line up with the... See how I have to have a little playroom on that right wall with the window? Just so that I can plop it in there. Now, once you get it in here, if you feel that it's not tight enough, by all means, glue it down. Now's the time. But it does fit. And I think we're good, especially when we do the crossbeam, because that's going to secure it even more. And now we're going to put in the door. So you're going to put in the top. It's kind of like, you know, one thing I've learned is I could probably build a big house. It'd be a lot harder and heavier and to do, but it is the same concepts. So we're just going to put this bottom piece in. It's just like the top one. It has the notch right there. And that leaves it open. I know regular doors in real life do not swing like this. They have hinges, but you could make a door like this in real life in the big form. It would work just the same. I do say that this is like, for some reason, the coolest part to me. We made a real door that actually opens and shuts. Usually they're glued open or glued shut. All right. And there's one light in this whole place, and it's one nice little diner dome light here. We can handle this. Nothing we haven't done before. Just gather all your materials. I unraveled the yellow and white wires. It's so nice because on the other last kit, they were like beige and white, really similar. This one you can tell the yellow and the white wires together. I'm going to add some batteries to this because once we get all our wiring done, we're going to want to test it out and make sure everything works. We have our friend, the little LED light here, and they leave the prongs long, so you just need to cut them down until it goes right to the little squiggly lines. You'll see it when I up close, and you just cut it there. There you go. So cut it right at the end there so that you have room to wrap your wires around. So you're going to do one yellow wire wrapped around one and one white wire wrapped around the other. These wires are very fine, so I could literally use my fingernails to peel the plastic outer. On the thicker wires, I use my wire stripper to gently cut the plastic on the outside and then strip it off so that you expose the wires. And like I said, you just wrap it on one and then you wrap it on the other. Now we're just going to put the little shrink tubes on there. So just put it all the way down so that it covers up all those exposed wires. I just apply a little hair dryer to it and it shrinks up and tightens up for you. Now we're going to test to see if they work, and yay! Nope, that's not photoshopped. That's real. It's a light. It works. Once you got it all working, before you wire it to your anything actually, is you're going to twist these two wires together because it's going to make your life easier when you're stringing it through the beams and out the back. Making the lamp is super easy. You're going to string your little light shade here, and each piece I glue in. So I don't think I show it, but each one I just put a little dot of glue just for security. Then you're going to put a little piece of the shrink wire in there, and then you're going to put the top piece right like that. And last is we have this little wood piece that's going to connect to your beam. Now you're going to see why we twist up the wires, because we have these little holes to stick the wires through and string them. So the tighter you did it, the better. Just string it through. And the first time I did this, I did it backwards. But easy fix. I'll show you in a second. Once I strung this and all glued it all together, this is where I realized something ain't right, because this little wrench looking piece, there's a little notch that's supposed to be there. So what I did is I flipped it around and I kind of strung the wire through the big hole, made sure the signs still fit on there by doing that, and strung it through that way. Because that little, it looks like a wrench, I guess, has a little notch there where it goes, and then you can string your wires through. Just follow the diagram and you'll be fine. Once I got all the wires in the places where I sort of wanted it, now we're going to tidy it up by gluing it down so it doesn't stick out. Because this beam does stick out and it does show. We like the industrial look, but not super like it's gonna OSHA violation. So we just glue it down and make it nice and neat and tidy. And then of course you have to have your bakery sign. So we're going to stick our sign up there, and this little section is pretty much done. Not hard, it really isn't. Just follow the directions. I mean, there's a couple goof ups, but that's just me not fully understanding the directions. But, you know, we're only human. Now we're gonna stick it into our building here, and it should all line up. It does. So this is where it even further enforces the walls. You really don't need to glue anything in place, except for when I get to this side wall here, I do glue that side. There we go. The structure is basically done. Now we just got to attach our wires to the power source. So you just put it into this little hole that we specifically made for it. And once we pull that through, there's a little capper that goes on top. Alright, now we're just going to connect it to our power source, and you just make sure the white wire goes to the correct one and the yellow wire goes to the correct one, and you should be good. Follow directions. We did the same thing where we connected it with the shrink wrap tubes. Just heat it up with a hairdryer, made sure it's nice and tight. And then we're going to put our power box, I guess it would be, into the hole. Now we're in the final phase. We're gonna flip around, cross our fingers, and we're gonna try to turn that little light on. Ta-da! We have light! We did it right! Yay! All right. So we got the space. It's looking great. Built solid. I think this will work. So next episode, we're gonna go and get some furniture. We're getting closer. Stay tuned. Bye. All right, yeah, cabinet here.